Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngozi, on sign language, Elizabeth Nakakuni. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Yoweri Museveni stops charcoal burning in northern Uganda. Prime Minister Nabanja explains creation of new districts out of Greater Massacre. While the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, wants schools inspection fans increased. And Minister Nandutu seeks constitutional interpretation of the charges against her. Hello once again, let's dig into it. President Yoweri Museveni has signed the third executive order for the year 2023 issued under the powers given to the presidency according to the constitution against the anti-cattle rustling efforts in the north and northeastern Uganda, the damage to the environment by the cost to the environment by the charcoal business, and the damage caused by the indisciplined nomads commonly known as Bulambuli.
The following are the First, on the cattle raiders, the following are the directives from the President of Uganda. Use of mobile phones to alarm raid activity. Where the signals are not good, the LCs and the security personnel and the RDCs should inform the ministers of presidency and local government to liaise with the telephone companies to install more masts. The army should have intelligence agents in every kraal or parish to be the ones to make the alarm to the battalion command center of the battalion responsible for that area, and the center should be open for 24 hours, equipped with appropriate tools for the mission. In cases where the raiders are located in big numbers and the army has strike capacity, they have been given the right to fire. In cases where the raiders' numbers are small, the tracking processes by the army should be assisted by dogs complemented by tactical overhead UAVs. Mobile phones found on the scene of crime should be tracked after the ambush. Investigations into all the army heads that stole the LDU's pay money, affecting their morale to carry out safety operations after 2017, and all the LDUs who colluded with the raiders are to be commenced. Recruitment of 12 LDUs per parish should be immediate. As part of the alarm system being enforced, within 3 years, the country police must stop being called Kampala Police and become the Uganda Police, and be mandated presence at every sub-county level across the country, with 18 personnel per sub-county, aided with 3 motorcycles. 12 be uniformed with 3 or 6 per squad, 6 to man the police station, and 6 to do jobs like CIDs, among others. Security roads including Lake Bisina, Abim to Oram, and the Amudat Mount Moroto to Mount Singira must be worked on to enable the police and army move rapidly in time of need. Secondly, on charcoal burning in northern and northeastern Uganda has been banned. That is in the Karamoja, Lango, Teso, Acholi and West Nile regions, in order to save the environment, and only the Minister of Environment, on recommendation of the RDC, will authorize any symbiotic charcoal burning. Thirdly, on the balalo, the President has banned the illegal presence of balalo in northern Uganda districts. No mulalo should settle and bring cattle to settle in northern Uganda, except with the permission of the Minister of Lands and the Minister of Agriculture. All government agencies should ensure that the balalo are expelled from the indicated areas by the end of June 2023. The Attorney General has also been directed to bring a draft of a law criminalizing nomadism. Finally, on the issue of the Turkana must never come to Uganda with guns. Anybody who does so must be arrested and charged with terrorism by a court-martial. The killers of the geologists must be handed to Uganda for trial for the murder. In the alternative, the killers, with the coordination of the government of Kenya and Uganda, should have a blood settlement matter put to the families of the deceased. It must be adjusted to the full value of what the deceased would have contributed in his or her life, which life was cut short by the criminals. Through the coordination of the governments of Kenya and Uganda, the Turkana must bring back to the victim communities the number of cattle equal to the cattle they stole from them. The Kenya government and Uganda government should coordinate on cattle branding to show district and sub-county of the respective cattle populations. Turkana population in Uganda has been given 6 months to implement the directives. If, however, the issue of the guns illegally entering Uganda, the handover of the criminals who killed our geologists, or the use of traditional justice and return of the stolen cattle are not resolved, all the Kenyan Turkanas and their cattle will be expelled and they will never be allowed to re-enter Uganda with cattle. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
Also, President Yoweri Museveni has urged farmers in Masaka to utilize the Parish Development Model, PDM, for better output of crop and animal production. The president said this while addressing the people of Greater Masaka on a 4-day tour.
President Museveni has urged the people of Greater Masaka to utilize the parish development model to uplift their standards of living.
In the parish, you are all farmers, all livestock owners, the ones of fish farming, they should all join the parish circle.
The president also said that the parish development model is meant for low-income earners, but when they gain their status to high-income earning, it will develop into a parish bank.
We are talking of PDM, talking of Emyoga.
PDM, Parish Development Model,
Now, this is the money for the people who don't have, the poor people. Now, when all people become all right and they gain the money economy, this will remain like a parish bank because it is there permanently. The centers were to
Museveni also urged the local leaders to ease the parish development model distribution system for easy accessibility.
It seems the organizers of PDM have put too much elitism in the program.
Kirabika abakola ku nteekateeka y'esente ez'okumiruka bataddemu nnyo ebyewala ebitali byangu ebikalubo
because computers, I don't know what.
Bakalubizza bingi ate kati computer.
We are going to study that.
Today, President Yoweri Museveni will continue his 4-day tour in the Greater Masaka region. Komagom Rogers, UBC News.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has told the people of Greater Masaka that creation of districts was development-driven and aimed at extending services closer to the people. The Prime Minister echoed this as she accompanied President Yoweri Museveni on his wealth creation drive in Greater Masaka.
Initially, it was one greater district of Masaka. Over the years, it has given birth to 8 others and 1 city. Masaka district itself is the 10th administrative unit in the area. This, according to the Prime Minister, was a government move aimed at extending not just services, but quality amenities closer to the people.
Ekyo bakikoze nga bagoberera engeri gye musobola okutuukibwako obuweereza kumpi n'abantu. Tekigenderwa ekisinga. It's by design. NRM nga yeegendereza. Slowly but sure.
Originally established in the 1900s, Masaka district was composed of the Buganda Kingdom's counties of Buddu, Kochi, Kabura, Maugula, and Sese Islands. The most recent district to be created out of Greater Masaka sub-region is Jotera and Masaka City. And that is how the whole process has been. Something Nabanja says was not by mistake.
Kino ne kireetereza abantu okubanga embeera zaabwe zaakyuka. Oyinza obutakiraba naye maama kyekyo embeera zaakyuka. Era twabadde tuli ku mikolo ng'olaba abakazi bambadde kumpi golowooza buti ba prime minister abo. Kazi wa mu kyalo naye ng'olaba ali smart. The quality of life of our people changed.
As a result, leadership gaps have been created and employment opportunities made available.
Kale okukulembera obukulembeze ne bubeera bwa muntu wa bulijjo. Ekyo kikulu nnyo okugabanyako obuyinza n'obukulembeze ne tubusembeza eri abantu ne tubusembeza eri mmwe bannabuddu nti mwe ensonga zammwe muzeemalire.
Some beneficiaries of these leadership opportunities have agreed with the assertion. Ruth Katushabe is the immediate former member of parliament for Bukomansimbi County North.
There are so many. The unemployment is really reduces. Even the local people, the resources they get from maybe waste creation, where they make sure that those resources reach at the village level, because the district is a bit small, not like this huge one.
Even challenges of straining government over resource allocation to the new administrative units, Ruth Katushabe sees it as an opportunity.
That's why you hear there's a complaint of overstraining. That means people were not getting what they were supposed to get. Now government is overstrained. When it gets overstrained, the government will plan more for its people.
But this has also come with corruption-related challenges, especially in recruitment, as recently condemned by President Yoweri Museveni.
But even if you're given still that guilty you come at the guilt you come with at the job, really you will also get the same feeling that for you to give a service you must be bribed also to give such a service, because they also bribed to get a job. So that is something they are instilling in the employees.
All this is happening at a time the government has earmarked 1 billion Uganda shillings for each district for road maintenance. This implies the government quest for infrastructure development is on course, including here in Greater Masaka. Henry Okrut, UBC.
African heads of states have been urged to accelerate the implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area to realize the continent's true economic independence. Prime Minister Robina Nabanja says Pan-Africanists ought to address independence-related challenges.
The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, has urged fellow African leaders to embrace inter-Africa trade for realization of African Agenda 2063.
Economic integration across Africa has for long been limited by outdated infrastructure and differing regulations across dozens of markets. When fully implemented, the African Continental Free Trade Area will be the world's largest free trade area, with a combined gross domestic product of around 3.4 trillion US dollars. This in turn further enhanced the creation of a single market of goods and services.
The Prime Minister says the only way through which this can be achieved is by implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area.
The admission of the DRC to the East African Community as the 7th member in the 2022, this region's market size has grown to nearly 300 million people. I call upon our brothers and sisters in the East African region to take advantage of this growing market for socio-economic transformation.
During the celebrations of the 60th African Liberation Day, which was attended by African heads of missions and dignitaries, Pan-Africanists were urged to recognize this day as a public holiday across the continent.
Because this was the aim of our forefathers, to fight for independence of Africa, and would like to preserve Africa, that the children of our children find it a great place to stay. This message, Right Honorable Prime Minister, would like it to be sent back to the President to know that we appreciate.
The continued conflicts looming the African continent is among the key challenges raised with the Dean of African Commons calling upon the spirit of unity and economic dependency. This year's theme for the celebration of the 60th Liberation Day is the role of peace and security in promoting continental trade for economic integration. Sudat Kaye and Saddam Mobale, UBC News.
The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has said the resource envelope for inspection is meagre and cannot enable local governments to inspect all schools annually. This was during the presentation of the National Resistance Movement Manifesto by the Ministry at State House, Nakasero.
The Ministry for Education and Sports has presented its two-year performance of the NRM Manifesto Commitments 2021-2026. Among others, the ministry indicates that government provided 4.3 billion shillings for recruitment of 488 inspectors to meet the ratio of 1 inspector per 40 schools in financial year 2021-2022. The Education Sector Progress Report indicates a combined budget for inspection and monitoring of schools and tertiary institutions for 2021-2022 and 2022-2023 as 15.35 billion shillings. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, says for as long as funds for inspection are inadequate, little of what pertains in schools will be shown.
Even that explains the fact that 1 inspector for 40 schools is really a lot of work for 1 individual. That's why we keep talking about the fact that we need more funding for inspection. A further Uganda shillings 1.0 billion has been earmarked in financial year 2023-24 to finalize the recruitment and deployment of school inspectors to meet the operational ratio of that 1 to 40 schools.
The introduction of this 0A digital program, our observation could be that this could also assist in the inspection aspects. I don't know whether it could, the way the system works, but I know you have tried as much as possible to introduce digital information system, education information system, which would help also to track whether teachers are at work and whether students and pupils are in school.
Government committed to construct 258 secondary schools in sub-counties without a public secondary school. The Ministry of Education completed the construction of 102 out of 117 new secondary schools under the first phase of Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Program, UGIFT. The ministry has also handed over 11 out of 115 sites to contractors to embark on construction of new schools under the second phase.
I know we have complaints from many areas because we did supply computers for all the new constructed schools, especially through the UGIFT phase 1. But because we do not have power in many of our schools, these computers are not being utilized, but we are hoping to at least get them to get some solar power in some of the areas where there is no electricity so that these computers can be utilized in these schools.
The ministry received 5,002 new staff from the Education Service Commission, of which 2,005 were deployed and 2,022 are pending provision of an additional wage of 50 billion shillings.
There is need to recruit a further 1,622 staff to fill the staffing gap in the new seed secondary schools as we continue the construction. In our budget, we are the ones crying out for these teachers. These teachers will be deployed. And we can't say that because they are not deployed now, they have to be paid, or I don't know what you meant. They are not earning because they are not deployed. We know that. But they have to be patient.
The Executive Director, National Council for Higher Education, Professor Mary Okwakwol, explained that the periods between accreditation and reassessment of programs are being reviewed to allow ample time for evaluation of graduates and determining which emerging issues should be incorporated in the programs.
The term expiry in these guidelines was intended to indicate that the prescribed term of 5 or 10 years before reassessment had elapsed. Reassessment of programs is best practice to ensure quality and relevance of graduates. This necessitates establishing whether the key aspects upon which accreditation was granted in the first instance are still in place or have been improved.
I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
The rector Namugongo Shrine, Reverend Father Vincent Lubegas, has said arrangements for the commemoration of the Uganda Martyrs Day set for 3rd June at Martyrs shrines have been finalized. This was during an interview with the Reverend Father at Namugongo Shrines. He appealed to all pilgrims still trekking to the shrines to abide by the traffic rules and security guidelines by enforcement agencies to avoid any inconveniences on their way.
Event managers, pilgrims, covert and overt security players have started arriving at the Catholic shrine in Namugongo in preparation for the commemoration of the Martyrs' Day on June 3rd, 2023. Most of the renovation plans are nearing completion on the site. Painting of the basilica, lighting, clearing of the bushes around the shrine, erecting of mobile treatment centers for the arriving pilgrims, and temporary shelters for them are nearly done.
We, the parish team of Namugongo, are set, and we shall work together from the 30th with the Jinja Diocese to make sure that we offer the best for all the pilgrims coming.
According to Reverend Father Vincent Lubega, the Bishop of Namugongo Basilica, that takes care of the Martyrs Shrine, the first pilgrims to arrive at the Namugongo Shrine were from Koboko, followed by pilgrims from Bushenyi.
Officially, the first group of pilgrims arrived on the 20th from Koboko. Then 2 days after, I received another big group from St. Kagwa Parish, Bushenyi, Mbarara Archdiocese.
However, Reverend Father Lubega revealed that various committees have been put in place to work with security forces to protect and take care of the pilgrims.
We have formed the committees as usual. We have the liturgy committee, security, health, sanitation.
Reverend Father Lubega says, unlike last year's Martyrs' Day, this time round they expect to host over 1.7 million pilgrims at both shrines of the Catholics and the Anglicans at the Historic Execution Center of Chief Executioner Mukajanga, currently known as the Namugongo Martyrs Shrines.
I expect over 1.7 million. We may get that, but not just in 1 minute, within this duration of people's coming.
But he appealed to the pilgrims still trekking their way to Namugongo Shrines to follow security and traffic guidelines offered to them to avoid trouble along the roads.
All the pilgrims coming, I would invite you to be careful on the road. Let us heed to the guidance of the police.
Reverend Father Lubega also appreciated government and Good Samaritans who have offered financial and physical support to ensure that the Martyrs' Day goes as planned.
I would also like to thank our President, together with all the security team, who always give us their support.
Crispus Arenaitwe for UBC.
A group of over 200 pilgrims from Mbarara, Isinjiro, Kabale and other parts of the country have expressed happiness after crossing the temporary footpath on the Katonga River to complete their trek to Namugongo shrines. Freta Arenaitwe from Burindoma Monastery in Isinjiro, one of the leaders of the pilgrims, said some of the pilgrims who had been stranded for days without a way out to proceed to their journey to Namugongo shrines picked their strength through continuous prayers to God to give the contractors wisdom to fix a temporary footpath. After crossing the wooden and steel bridge, they expressed joy amidst ululations, praising God. Others thanked government for making a quick response to their concerns. Ugandans have been urged to work together to end stigmatization against people living with HIV and AIDS and not to hesitate to get tested to know their status. The Under-Secretary Ministry of East African Affairs, East African Community Affairs, Collins Dombo, was officiating the opening of an HIV/AIDS awareness workshop for the ministry's staff in Kampala.
The Under-Secretary of the Ministry of East African Community Affairs, James Collins Dombo, has cautioned the ministry's staff against stigmatizing people living with HIV/AIDS and asked them to get tested to know their HIV status.
People who used to suffer from it would kind of hide away, and other people would fear to relate with the people who were suffering from it. But gone are those days, because now we have testing all over, so it is easy for each and everybody to at least come and know to know your status. And even when you know your status, it does not stop there. There are now channels through which you can be helped.
Nkaba Robert from Tasso highlighted the various types of stigmatization against people living with HIV and said Ugandans should work together to ensure that HIV is eradicated by 2030.
The different forms of stigma are still existing amongst our communities. We have the self-stigma, which comes within the person. We have the social stigma, which is from the community, the people that we socialize with. And if we fail to harness the opportunity to deal with those forms of stigma, HIV continues to linger within our community. Embrace each one of us with the positive feelings, with support and care. If we all come together in that form, we will be able to fight HIV out of our country.
The Principal Human Resources Officer, Matthias Senfoka, expressed confidence that they will greatly benefit from this health awareness initiative.
This workshop is very, very paramount. I know by the end of it, our staff will have benefited because a number of topics are going to be touched: prevention, care.
Rebecca Natongo, Susan Nabukude, UBC News.
And there have been landslides in Bulambuli district following heavy rains in the area. Uganda Red Cross Director for Communications, Irene Nakasita, says Red Cross has dispatched an emergency response team to Bulanganya, where lives are suspected to have been lost under the mud.
That have caved in due to the landslide. And following heavy rains today in the afternoon, we got an alert from our team in Bulambuli that a landslide had occurred in Buluganya sub-county, Bumasobo Parish in Bulambuli district, and our team reported a few houses that have caved in due to the landslide. We dispatched an emergency response team to work alongside the community and the local leadership to be able to support the affected families. We envisage that it could be some people buried under the rubble, but we've not yet established the numbers affected. At least the dispatch team is still on ground doing search and rescue, and we should be able to update in due course.
Jerry, hey, Master Blaster, touch him, man. Bang can with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava, best movies I teach you. When I go to which the because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah, you step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema. This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the GOAT. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy till it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. Her reason to imagine is finesse. And hers is to find what's new and bussin'. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
At Time
Primex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Several NRM leaders in Nakawa division have spoken out on why the party performed poorly in the 2021 general elections. They attribute the poor performance to the party not being felt on ground. Leaders pointed out that some programs are not directly benefiting the poor, yet they are the majority. This was revealed during a mobilization program organized by the NRM Secretariat with an aim of getting views and ideas of the local leader about the NRM party.
The meeting, presided over by the Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, was attended by all NRM leaders at different levels, right from up to the division level. It was held at Kiswa Primary School, Nakawa.
Okulonda kwa NRM kutuyuza nnyo. Ate era nga kusibuka kunkwe kubanga mukimanyi bwe mugenda mu kulonda wabeerawo awangula. Mwena temusobola kukwata kyalubereberye. Kakati wabeerawo awangula abalala nga tudda mu tugende tuzabika emipiira. Ngo abakulembeze bano nga bawagira independent nga n'abakulembeze bali bawagira independent kyokka nga ate bambadde yero ab'emikwano ezo sizenkwe.
She observed that in fighting, indiscipline and formation of cliques and use of abusive language and endless lamentations are partly responsible for the poor performance of the party in the central region.
Nga abantu b'NRM bagamba nti ekisebe ky'NRM kibali wala tekidda gye bali balinda sawa ya kalulu ne balyoka bajja gye bali. Kakati basebo ne bannyabo nga tuzze ku bino ebirala ebiri social economic of course nebiri political byonna ne tuzuula n'ekirala ekizibu ky'ettaka lumbe lunene olulidde wa central region. Ne tuzuula ekirala abavubuka balaba nga balowooza nti gavumenti tebataddeeko mwoyo.
Speaking on behalf of the chairperson, Sam Mangeni said, NRM is very strong in Nakawa, but most people are not happy with the way higher leadership handles their issues.
Over a period of time, it appears being a supporter of NRM all the time is a disadvantage. You get somebody who goes to the opposition, has insults to the party, and at the end of the day, when you hear of appointments, he is your boss.
NRM parliamentary flag bearer and former Speaker of the East African Parliament, Margaret Nantongo-Ziwa, was happy that NRM Secretariat has embarked on the assessment of the manifesto implementation.
There is a problem of misinformation or communication. One of these programs, all the programs which the President is talking about, are not reaching the ground. When people say we've chosen so and so to benefit from PDM, how has he or she been chosen? So all these are the challenges we have, and we need to tackle them. We need to reinstitute the meetings at the local level, starting from RC1 or LC1 up to the constituency level. Then we shall gain.
The assessment of the implementation of the NRM manifesto has enabled members of the Secretariat to identify the missing gaps. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Many of the national resistance movement supporters living abroad are participating in the party's manifesto week. They said the party is fulfilling its promises, and they are confident that the PDM program will help bridge the poverty gap between subsistence farmers, they told our correspondent in an interview in Kampala.
Over the years, the NRM party regularly renews its mandate to serve citizens as it fosters progress in taking Uganda to modernity through job creation and inclusive development. Just recently, NRM party began celebrating some of its promises and achievements through its service delivery to the citizenry.
Deliver both on growth and a socio-economic transformation as stipulated in the NRM manifesto.
Amidst the celebrations, the party's overseas supporters have also joined the cause. They applauded the party for its nationwide services to citizens.
In our last manifesto, we talked about securing your future. Now, how have we moved to secure the future in line of the NRM manifesto? Security is one of the most fundamental issues before the last elections. You remember there were cases of insecurity and kidnappings in Uganda and all that, the police brutality. All this has so far achieved.
Era ekinkozesa ebintu bino eno mobilizing abantu bategeere manifesto ya NRM, bategeere the 10 points program.
The patron NRM Southern Africa chapter Philip Kakulu said security has improved and the new vocational curriculum has already started to set the stage for competition.
In terms of education, we've seen the change of a curriculum trying to make it more practical to deal with the skill shortage which will in turn culminate into empowerment of individuals. If you train guys in technical skills, for example, the government agenda of building a tertiary or technical school in every sub-county.
He implored the president's focus on commercial agriculture to improve the lives of citizens, which he says is at the forefront and the fruits are visible.
Talking about aggregating of farmers into bigger units and export for export purposes to do what we call the balance of trade, because different farmers, if they are aggregated together, they can export. We've seen this in dairy production.
The NRM chairman in Canada, Fred Chinene, lauded the NRM national chairman and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for establishing peace in the country.
Okuyigiriza abantu nga ku agriculture, okuyigiriza abantu nga ku export, okumanyisa ba investor nti ensi yaffe security eri gulugulu mujje mu investing wano.
Chinene, however, condemned those who saw hatred against their country to stop it and encouraged the Ugandans to aim at strengthening unity at home and abroad.
Okufuna chance naffe netukungaanira wamu kozi oli awo tusobola okufuna unity ate netufuna ne dialogue n'ebibiina ebirala.
He highlighted about the preparations for the 7th to 9th Ugandan conference in Canada that are underway.
We are really so eager to see that we have reached in the last month of our preparation for the event. Our event is there and it will happen of July. This time we thank the Canadian Embassy, which has already started availing visas to all the people who are coming. I want to thank the President.
And with that, we take a quick break. We return with more details.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. President Yoweri Museveni and his counterpart, Tanzanian counterpart, Samia Suluhu Hassan, have commissioned the Kikagati Morongo Hydropower plant. The 14-megawatt plant is located in Isinjiro district. Speaking at the ceremony shortly after commissioning today, President Museveni welcomed Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan to the western part of Uganda to commission a project on River Kagera that will benefit the two sister countries. The power plant is funded by the Netherlands Development Finance Corporation, Africa Renewable Energy Fund, Emerging Africa Infrastructure Fund, and Private Infrastructure Development Group. The construction commenced in February 2018.
I'm always happy to note that our historic and fraternal relation continue to improve day by day. And of course, there is a wider room to further make the improvement of our relationship and cooperation, particularly in areas of trade and investment, as well as cultural and social engagement. And so this project is going to immensely contribute to that effect. While our countries continue to record an impressive economic growth, our responsibility as heads of states and government is to direct the investment to such these areas like here where we are, whereby the investment shall catalyze the macroeconomic development of the area, of which are going to foster macroeconomic outcomes.
You have been to other parts of Uganda, but you had not come here. and no other Tanzanian president had come here, this side. President Mkapa was on the other side alone. He didn't tell me, but he didn't come this side. So he was the first president of Tanzania to come this side. This part of Uganda and Tanzania is where I am born. I was actually born at a place which is less than 40 miles from here, if you follow the road. But if you go direct, it may be about 20 miles. So I have grown up here. I have grazed cows, both in Uganda and in Tanzania. And I have fought at least 3 wars here, in this part of Africa. In fact, it is because we did not coordinate, but just behind that hill, that's where, on the Tanzanian side, that's where I had my base when we were fighting Idi Amin. And there is a school there, there's a school there called Nyamiyaga, where I was camped during I arrived there on the 23rd of December, 1978, and I crossed here at this bridge on the 11th of February, 1979, with Colonel Casey of the Army, with our battalion, which we were working with, was called Task Force Battalion of 206 Brigade of the Tanzanian Army, and river. That Volta River is not as strong as the Kajera. Yeah. But the famous dam, which was built by Nkrumah, which saved Ghana, the Akosombo Dam, you can go and check on the internet. It generates 1,300 megawatts from a very small river, not like this one here, which is so powerful. So I was always having this bad plan in my head. I didn't tell anybody. It's only now that I mention it. Because now what they are doing, they have not built a big dam. But when I was always passing there, where the hills of Karagwe almost meet the ones of Uganda, I had that idea in my head. But anyway, by having a minimum blockage, we can get 16 megawatts from here, get 38 from there. Let's start with that one. But furthermore, Your Excellency, as you are coming, this land is special, this area. As you hear, it is called Isingiro. There is also Isingiro on the Tanzanian side, 18 miles from the river here. Inside there is part of Tanzania called Isingiro.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has hosted a delegation from East and Central Africa to share experiences and knowledge on how to promote biodigester technology among the member states. State Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Peter Lokeris, says adoption of biodigester technology will promote healthy living.
State Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Peter Lokeris, says the use of biodigesters will help build a climate resilience because it is a smart and valuable climate and clean air energy solution. It is for this reason that the Africa Biodigester Component Project aims to initiate at least 8,000 small-scale farmers in Uganda.
Producing what their livelihood, their foods, using clean energy, then it means all of us survive. Plus even the animals, these living things like fish, like what, they are all dependent on clean energy, not polluted resources.
Biodigester technology has a number of benefits, including production of organic manure and cooking that is environmentally friendly.
So we are looking at how we can use this technology to generate biogas for cooking or biogas for electricity, which eventually can also end up at cooking level. But also looking at this technology for supporting the agriculture sector, particularly in the biocereal or the waste that come off that process of making biogas, which is biocereal, to support our fertilizer development in the country and ultimately contribute to food security.
For this to come to fruition, member states have to revise policies and taxation for favorable trade conditions.
We need to improve our policy environment. So there are about 2 or 3 areas that we've agreed that need development or catalyzing, particularly across all the countries. We've agreed that we need to have national strategies that are geared at improving the development and proliferation of this technology. So strategies at a broader level, but also strategies for specific areas like communication strategies to make sure that we improve that.
There is, however, need to domesticate biodigester technology to help operationalize agreements at regional level.
What we are going to do is now to domesticate this within the framework that has already been established by Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and that's the framework of the National Renewable Energy Platform. This is an anchor innovation platform that brings together development partners, government ministries, departments and agencies, and then private sector and civil society organizations. That's how we are going to anchor this and make sure that we operationalize the agreements at the regional level. Now it's at this level that you will have actions that trickle down to the lowest level. So
biodigesters are airtight containers in which organic materials such as cow dung and crop leftovers are deposited to ferment and produce biogas used in cooking and lighting. Mary Namkose, Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Now the first leg of the International Tennis Federation World Tennis Tour Juniors J30 has entered the finals at Lugogo Tennis Complex. This was after a week of action that had 32 boys and 16 girls, including Ugandans.
After a week of action at the Lugogo Tennis Complex, the 2023 International Tennis Federation World Tennis Juniors J30 Kampala first leg has reached the finals. The tour attracted 32 boys and 16 girls, including 12 Ugandans, that fell early. In the singles final on center court on Friday, Russian Leila Akhentova would play India's Reddy Nakula in the girls' final.
The competition was good. It was very tiring and my opponent played really good. The quality of her tennis was nice. It was a really good match. Yeah. I'm quite excited to play tomorrow because it's my first finals and it's against the top seed of the tournament. So it's, yeah, I just want to give it my best.
The boys' final between India's Vraj Gohil against Russia's Nikita Mitrofankovic will also be at Center Court Affair after the girls' winner is decided.
Yesterday I won my quarterfinals with my good game. Today I won the semis with the same game and I'm looking forward to win the final with a very good game.
В финале я просто хочу играть свою игру, ничего не менять.
But in the final match, he's going to play his own game, do what he can do best, and just want to show the best game he can play.
In the girls' doubles, Russian Leila Akhentova and India's Shia Mahajana will face Tanzania's Shahana Mao and Ghanaian Sisu Makena. In the boys' category, Indians Viraj Gohil and Aum Parik will play Rwanda's Claude Ishimwe and Burundi's Shakur Malik in an anticipated boys' doubles final. This championship is the first of its kind in Uganda since 2009. John Barnes, Sentamo.
Well, that does it for News Tonight for now, but we do return at 10 o'clock with more details. Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngozi.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere, using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone.